Hello everyone. We are going to talk about the Cicada-2B variant, and the 2B is special because it has its energy hardpoints on the arms, and I'm going to talk about what you can do with that. First of all, the Cicada chassis itself has very vulnerable legs because they're very large. It's basically half the mech, much like the Raven. Um, Usually, most variants, this is the only variant that has energy hardpoints on the arms. Two energy hardpoints on the left arm, two on the right arm, and then one energy hardpoint on the center torso. And the AMS is on the right torso. So usually the arms are shields. In this case, they are actually your main weapons, and the main difference between having the weapons on your arms and your torsos is that you get vertical mobility. You These don't actually move very much horizontally as much as they move vertically, because when you have the weapons on the torsos, you can't really shoot up and down very much. But with the arms, you can handle hills much easier. You can do sniping from above much easier. So my suggestion with the 2B, to play to its strengths, I've gone with two large lasers, one large laser on each arm, and three small lasers. One small laser on each arm and a small laser in the center torso. I've gone with the XL Engine 300 just because it's the most efficient. In terms of tonnage, I have invested in endo steel, and I've gone with put two heat sinks in the engine, put the double heat sinks in the torsos, and generally that's actually enough to allow me to fire my large lasers consecutively without overheating. And the small lasers, keep in mind that this Cicada with speed tweak will go 130 kilometers per hour, and you have the power to consecutively shoot large lasers. You do have the small lasers as a backup for when you're dealing with lights that are trying to harass you, because lights will frequently come to harass you seeing that you have large lasers. And this build is actually very effective against lights because of the damage potential of firing two large lasers and three small lasers at the same time at a light mech that's harassing. It's very effective against light mechs, and it's also very effective at bombarding larger mechs from distance, and also getting in behind a mech and blasting it with an alpha strike from behind. Now, if you fire your small lasers and the large lasers together, then you will overheat faster. You cannot do that consecutively, but the small lasers are there more for burst damage. Also sometimes, because you have precision with your large lasers, you will get an enemy mech part that is mostly damaged and it's red and it's about to get shot off, but you don't want to spend all of the extra heat to finish it off with your large lasers. You can actually just use your small lasers to just finish it off very quickly, or to fend off lights, as I said before. It's very flexible. Even though the small laser, the third small laser is on the center torso, it's not that big of a deal, because if you're that close, then you're not really going to be utilizing any kind of vertical movement. That's more so for the large lasers. But some other builds you can do with it. If you like sniping from above, or if you have a lot of trouble running on hills and tracking targets, shooting targets while you're running on hills, frequently when you're chasing lights, for example, they will run up and down hills for cover. It's very hard to do on the other Cicada variants because most of the weapons are on the center and side torsos, but with the 2B, you can effectively shoot up and down when you're chasing enemies on hills, as well as shoot down or up. Down in the case when you're sniping at someone, or up in case you're shooting at a sniper. You can put medium lasers on here. You can put 4 medium lasers and a tag, for example, or you can replace the small lasers for a tag and an extra double heatsink. You can, what else? You can put you can probably fit 2 PPCs if you want to if you really want to commit to that, and you can downgrade the engine by a little bit, possibly. You could probably go with a good mixture of weaponry depending on what kind of build you have in mind. Now, this build is not as good of a harasser, and the reason why is because since you have your weaponry on the outside arms rather than the inner torsos, it means that you're more susceptible to losing your weapons. Thankfully, most enemies go for your legs, actually, because they're more exposed. So even though you have your weapons on your arms, they don't get shot very often. But they are more vulnerable than, for example, the other Cicada variants. So my suggested build for the Cicada-2B, to play to its strengths, given the fact that its strength is being able to shoot up and down, and its weakness being that its weapons are more exposed, I've gone with more of a sniper build with the 2 large lasers and the 3 small lasers. Gives you a lot of flexibility. It allows you to still do a lot of damage, deal out a lot of burst damage up close, or you can do consistent amounts of moderate damage at range with 2 large lasers. 2 large lasers can do a considerable amount of damage because you're able to use the Cicada's speed to position yourself exactly where you want to be and be able to run away and basically harass at long range. And that's something that the Cicada can do that a lot of other mechs can't do, is harass at long range with large lasers. So thank you for joining me. I hope that's given you some inspiration for building your Cicada-2B. See you next match.